In this short video, we're going to look at measuring a distance from the map and then translating that distance on the ground using pacing. So on my map, I've identified two features that are exactly 100 meters apart that will allow me to work out how many paces I take when I walk 100 meters. So I've got a stream to a path junction measuring exactly 100 meters. Here we can see the stream and the junction, the distance between the two being 100 meters. So you need two features that you know are 100 meters apart that will allow you to count the number of paces that you walk. So it might be that you can go to your local athletics track and use a 100-meter strip there. It might be that you need to do the same as us and measure whilst you're out in the hills. In poor visibility, I need to be able to accurately measure distance on the ground, and that's where pacing comes into its own. So in this little film, we're looking at working out how many paces we take to walk 100 meters. I've identified two features on the ground that are exactly 100 meters apart, and now I'm going to count my paces as I walk so that I know how many paces it takes for me to walk 100 meters on flat ground, and then I can make allowances for that on ground that goes up and ground that goes down. So I'm going to start off just by counting paces. I'm going to count every other step as I walk. If I count every pace, I end up with a really high number and I just get confused. So I'm going to count every time my left foot hits the ground. I'm doing this exercise with my rucksack on so that when I'm out there for real, it's reflective of how I'll be walking with a rucksack on. And I want to try and just walk normally. I'm going to try and avoid any sort of funny special pacing walks. So I'm just going to pace a normal pace and count every time my left foot hits the ground. So away we go. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. $65. So for me, that's 65 double paces that I've walked from the stream to the junction here. So I now know that 100 meters on the ground is 65 double paces for me on flat terrain. What I then need to do is work out how that varies when I'm going uphill. Most people take shorter steps uphill, and when I'm going downhill, whether I take longer strides or whether they remain about the same. So I can repeat that exercise in ascent and in descent. And what works reasonably well for me is a 10% allowance. So I use 65 double paces on the flat, and then I normally allow about another 10% uphill, another 10% for perhaps bouldery ground or tussocky ground. But that's something that you can go out with and experiment. Now you know how to measure pacing on the ground.